It's an age-old way to get around town, the horse-drawn carriage.
But with the addition of e-scooters and e-bikes on the streets of Denver, there is concern tonight that these carriages have no place in Denver anymore.
So is it time to move on? Well, Denver 7's Megan Lopez is going 360 to explore the future of horse carriages.
Out here in the grassy plains of Windsor, it's easy to forget what era you're living in.
I think that it encompasses Colorado as a whole.
In a place where transportation from the Wild West intersects with the 21st century.
These carriages have been around for a long, long time. It's part of Colorado.
But just an hour away, the sounds of hooves are hushed by the horsepower of cars. And buses, trains, bikes, e-scooters, pedicabs, and more. So many new ways to see the city. So is it time to let go of the oldest? Here's your 360 roundup. Horse carriage operators say this is a Colorado tradition that deserves to stay. Some 16th Street Mall shoppers we spoke with agree. PETA says many cities are already doing away with these carriages, but one Colorado town recently brought them back. First, let's take a ride into Denver's past. To understand the importance these carriages once had, helping bring the first settlers to this section of the Wild West, plowing fields, raising farms, laying the foundation for Denver, and eventually transforming transportation itself with cutting-edge horse cars.
Hamilton.
It's a history Darren Henry tries to hold on to.
I just can't imagine myself doing anything else but working with these guys.
Henry runs Mountain Shadow Carriages. It's one of only 6 companies left that's permitted by the Downtown Denver Partnership to operate along the 16th Street Mall.
We've adopted regulations that keep our horses safe.
His company has survived Denver's many changes.
Sometimes we don't like change, but we're good at it.
But even with the new transportation options, Henry says business is good.
Somebody that's walking down the street that wants to ride a scooter doesn't necessarily want to ride a carriage.
He's heard calls to get rid of these carriages before, but says his horses only work 8 hours a week and...
Draft horses, they love people. They love being around people. Back.
He hopes this nod to the past will stick around for the future.
Good boy. This is what Denver has grown up to be. Good boy. I would be very heartbroken if these carriages were to leave the mall.
Along the 16th Street Mall,
it gives it a unique quality when you see them on the street.
Horse carriages are still a special sight for tourists and Denverites alike.
I think it's a very romantic thing to spend the evening or just get to see the sights of the city.
A hat tip to the old days.
I think that connection to the Old West and the roots.
And for old timers,
like me, I would take them before I would take a shutter or these scooters that they have. I don't do those.
So many of the people Denver 7 spoke with say these carriages should stay. On the other hand,
there's nothing romantic about a suffering horse.
For the animal rights group PETA, these carriages can be dangerous.
There have been accidents in every major city where we have horse-drawn carriages.
John DeLeonardo says horses are sensitive to all of the noises around them and that city streets can be harmful for them to walk on. And with even more happening around them these days.
And the kind thing to do for the horses and the safe thing to do for our cities is to get them out of the streets.
Some cities have decided to get rid of horse-drawn carriages altogether, like Salt Lake City, Palm Beach, even Breckenridge.
In New York City, we're regulating them out of existence.
But without more public outcry, DeLeonardo isn't sure these carriages will go away.
It's a great piece that was missing.
Meanwhile, in Telluride,
this is how your ancestors crossed the country to access these mountains.
The town is taking a step back in history.
We just found that we had tons of local support.
Last year, it decided to allow these carriages to return.
There's a certain magic to horses that connection is being lost.
Something Noah Gregory says helped reconnect the town to its past.
But when you're actually experiencing the way that people traveled back when the towns were getting first developed, it adds that historical piece.
Gregory says the carriage rides are popular and here to stay. All around Denver, the Old West still alive in many ways. This long-standing transportation helped make history here. Whether it will become it is still unsettled. With this 360 roundup, Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And listen, we want to hear from you about these horse carriages. 360 at thedenverchannel.com, or you can join in on the conversation on our Denver 7 Facebook and or Twitter page.
First alert weather for tonight. We'll have a quiet night for the most part as storms die down. 66 by 7 a.m., 76 by 9 a.m., and heating up to 87 by 11 a.m. tomorrow. Today, we topped out at 89, starting out at 63. The normals are at 89 and 60, and right now, under a partly cloudy sky, 75 downtown, 71 at the airport. Pressure's rising, and the winds are out of the south at 6 miles per hour. Had a fair amount of lightning up toward the Fort Morgan area. You can see this live shot from our Viera camera network. There's still a couple of flashes up that way as the storm continues up across northeast Colorado. It's diminishing as it moves toward the southeast about 20 miles per hour, and there have been just a few down to the south of the Denver. Most of this activity is going to be coming to a close, and we'll have fair skies overnight tonight. Still some scattered storms down to our south. So this is the situation for tonight. The isolated storms give way to clearing skies. There's a front just trying to move into northeastern Colorado. There's a more high humidity up here. Some scattered storms in Nebraska by morning. Mostly clear across the rest of our state. Lows by morning, 62 in Denver, 57 at Greeley, 41 degrees at Leadville. And along the front range, we'll see mostly readings in the 50s in the mountains, but a few 40s up that way. And across the plains, low to mid 60s, mostly sunny skies in the morning. Now that front is going to stay up to the north and east of Denver tomorrow. It'll be sunny and hot by midday. A few storms start to develop in the mountains, and later in the afternoon, back to isolated storms over most of the state. Very warm conditions. Severe weather, slight chance northeast corner of the state, western Nebraska and Kansas, closer to that weather front. 93 tomorrow in Denver, 96 at Greeley, triple digits La Junta and Lamar, and out at Moab, Utah. Front range going to be a hot day tomorrow with low to mid 90s. Head to the hills to cool off with 70s to lower 80s expected. The forecast tonight, a few storms end and then clearing and mild and 62. For tomorrow, it's going to be hot with a high temperature of 93. A few storms in the afternoon, about the same coming up on Wednesday. Then that front that's just off to the north and east of us is going to slide back down here as a weak cold front Thursday and Friday. That brings in higher humidity, more instability in the atmosphere, a better chance of showers and storms Thursday and Friday. And then back to hotter and generally drier conditions again just in time for the weekend.